Hello friends, welcome back to the channel, or if you are new here, welcome. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing a small-ish grocery haul. I say that because it is not like my big monthly grocery haul that I usually do. It is a smaller one just to kind of fill in some gaps for, I don't want to say the week ahead because it is definitely for more than 1 week, but just to fill in some gaps in our pantry, in our freezer. And then while everybody is kind of doing their own thing, I figured I would take you along and make some dinner with you. So that is what we're going to get into in today's video. If these homemaking videos are something that you like to watch, don't forget to like and subscribe. That also really helps out my channel. It is a bit chaotic, but I'm going to share a grocery haul with you. This is nothing big, I just needed to fill in some gaps. I also needed a lot of meat. We were pretty close to the end of our freezer, so I got some of that. And I'll probably do a big grocery haul next weekend, but for now this one is just a small one filling in some gaps. Okay, like I said, it's all chaotic. It's all over the place, but so there's no particular order. I'm gonna start over here though. We got a package of 3 pounds of beef. We already split it up, so I'm gonna throw that in the freezer. I didn't get any turkey meat. Last time we went to the grocery store, I got a bunch of turkey meat, so I still have some of that on hand, so I didn't get that this week. But it's a lot cheaper, so I like buying the turkey meat and having a little bit less of the ground beef. So we got 3 pounds of ground beef. We got 1 package of chicken breasts. I like to split these up into probably 2 different meals. I also got a Smithfield ham. I'm going to make this for just like a Sunday meal whenever we put up all of our Christmas decorations. We're really excited about that. So I'm gonna do that and green bean casserole and like mashed potatoes, all the fixins. But that is what that is for. We're really excited. This was $15.90 for this one. It's a bone-in one. That was kind of actually the cheapest and smallest one I can find. They were all huge, but I only need it for like our family for a Sunday, so I didn't need all that. And then whatever is left, I like to put into like egg casseroles or, you know, something like that that is quick and easy. You could also do like a potato soup type of thing. So anyway, whatever is left, I'll end up putting in something else. Okay, sorry, I had to take the pizza out. So I showed you the ham. We got some sausage patties. I got the frozen ones this week because I want to make breakfast sandwiches. So we also got English muffins, and I'll make some eggs, and we'll put those in the freezer for a quick breakfast. I can't take this out of the bag because it started leaking. So we got these chicken leg quarters. They are about $7 at my store, and it makes multiple meals for our family. So I like doing that and just like deboning it for different meals. We got some lunch meat, just turkey breasts for, usually we'll make like wraps or something for lunch, which we got tortillas for that. I also might make some enchiladas this week. Odd, but Lincoln asked for this. It was like one of the only things he asked for at the store. So we got some shredded hash browns to have, I guess, for breakfast. I also like using them for egg casseroles, so might do that if we have some ham left over. These were the chips we got, just 1 bag of tortilla chips, 1 bag of, what is it? Oh, jalapeno kettle chips. Those are really good, but they're a small bag. But they're like less than $2 at my store, so you really can't beat that. Some saltine crackers. I think we're gonna have like soup and stuff, so these will be good for that. These are what Lincoln or Theo picked out. They picked out, Theo I think picked out these donut sticks for our snack bin, so we got that. I wanted some pumpernickel bread, and I was looking at the different calories. It's only about 80 calories for a slice, so I ended up getting some of that. I thought it sounded pretty good, so I got some of that. I also, I'm like out of breath because I can't breathe because this is super spicy, but Aubrey and I are splitting one of these. I don't know how to say it. but that's what it is. I saw these and I keep seeing these on TikTok whenever I'm scrolling, people eating these, and I've never tried them. They honestly have a really weird texture. We like trying different ramen, and so I got this for us to share, and it is super spicy. My nose is running and everything. It's very spicy, but it's interesting. I almost feel like it has the texture of a gummy worm, so kind of weird, but that is what we're eating, and it's like I can't breathe because it's so spicy. We got some cream cheese. I don't remember what I got that for because I did not buy bagels, but I got it for something. Some brown gravy for the pantry, some butter. Oh, so I jarred a bunch of jelly over the summer, and it's so good. The kids eat it on like everything. It's really, really good. However, we went to get our last jar out of the pantry the other day, and it had unsealed and had mold. So I don't have any more. We had to buy jelly for the first time in several months, but this is one of our favorite ones. So we went ahead and grabbed that until I can make more. We got these just for a snack. The sweet and spicy peanuts are like the best ones. Some cottage cheese, sour cream, some yogurt. Oh, so I got these because I'm going to be putting up the tree, and I like using this tinsel. It is hard to find if you don't buy it really, really soon in the season. So whenever I start to see it on the shelf, I'll grab 1 or 2 packages. And I like putting this on my tree. I don't think the kids really put it on theirs. They might have different tinsel, but anyway, so I got this for my tree. And then I like putting out little festive candies in a candy dish whenever I put up the Christmas stuff. So I got some of those. This is the toilet paper that we use. I usually get the lavender scent, but they were all out, so I got the fresh linen. And honestly, I don't really smell it, so it's obviously not very strong. I got some sugar, flour. I just got smaller ones because I have a little bit from last week still. Some vegetables, or kind of just fill-in things. I needed some more onions, apples, celery. We got some mushrooms. Funny thing, but the boys were so excited when they found this golden apple. It was actually called an opal apple, but they were really, really excited. And so they asked if they could buy this one apple. So I'm like, oh, sure, we'll buy this one apple. So we got one of those for them to try. A cucumber, a red bell pepper. I'm going to make what I always refer to as veggie eggs. They are a really good thing to have in the morning, especially when you're trying to kind of like cut calories and stuff. So I like having those. My kids actually like eating them, and they're basically just scrambled eggs or omelets that are filled with a bunch of veggies. So I got that for that, along with some other veggies. I was gonna do the mushrooms too in that. I got some of these crunchy fried onions. I like putting them as like different toppings for salads and using them for various toppings on things. However, I'm going to be making a green bean casserole to go with our ham dinner, so I actually got those for that. I'm stocking up some mac and cheese for the pantry. Some beans I'm also stocking up for the pantry, and then these are just kind of some staples that we needed stocking up on. So tuna, my daughter likes eating these, so I'll usually get her a can every now and then. I needed, I think, just a little bit more enchilada sauce. I only had a little, so I got a small one of those. Some pasta sauce. These are the green beans. I like the French style because the thicker ones are just too thick. I don't know, it's like too much green bean. I'm not really a green bean fan. So I get 2 cans of the French style. We got Sloppy Joe sauce. I made Sloppy Joes the other night, and I just did the sauce by myself, but it was like too sweet, and the boys, everybody loved it, but I wanted to get one of these just to not have to make it, I guess. More pickles, mayo, brown sugar. I got a small thing of eggs this week because I still have quite a bit that we need to go through. We got some cheese, and Kyle picked out some double stuffed Oreos. And I think that's pretty much it. We got like a thing of water. We got one of these logs to help like clean out the chimney. It is supposed to get really, really cold, and I'm actually pretty excited for it. So maybe it will feel like winter. I don't know. It's just kind of exciting, you know, when the seasons start changing. So we got one of those logs to clear it out, and we can start having fires in here. I think that's pretty much it though. I made a sourdough pizza for lunch. So I'm gonna put away the groceries and cut that so everybody can have some lunch. I swear grocery hauls always feel so chaotic to me. And this one in particular really felt chaotic. We had just gotten home. We usually will go to the store that is a little further away because we go to other stores and it has a lot more stuff at the ones that are further. The Walmart that is closest to us is really, really small. It does not have a bunch of things. Like, there is not a huge variety and stuff. So we ended up going to the closer one so we wouldn't be so far away. I had a bunch to do. My husband was hoping to work on the car, and it was just kind of a really chaotic day. So because of that, we went to the closer one, and I didn't need to get a crazy amount of things. I just really needed to get like some lunch stuff, some stuff to get us through the week. And like I said, we were getting pretty low on meat. So I got some meat to get us through the week, and I'll probably stock up next week. That's just usually when we do our like monthly stock up on meat and like flour and stuff like that, our household stuff. We usually do about once a month. But yeah, this week just seemed so chaotic this weekend. We went grocery shopping, and then as soon as we got back, it was like right after lunch-ish time, and no one had ate. So I was like trying to make lunch really quick. And my daughter, while I was doing that, she ended up making that ramen pack that I showed you. And it was so much spicier than I was expecting. And it's kind of funny because a lot of us, in our family are totally fine with spicy, and we do really well with spicy foods, but that was a lot more spicy than I was expecting it to be. And so I was eating some of that kind of off and on, and trying to make lunch for everybody else, and trying to do groceries and put things away. And we had just walked in the door. It was like so chaotic. The boys were running in and out playing with a friend. So I'm sorry if that felt chaotic, but it definitely did for me too. I'm going to quickly finish putting away the groceries, and then we're going to fast forward to dinner time, and we will make some chicken and noodles together. Okay, so I have groceries put away. We had lunch. It's actually been a couple of hours. It is kind of getting dark now, so I'm gonna hurry up and start on dinner. Kyle's outside fixing my car. He's been working on that for a couple of hours, just trying to switch something out. So he's working on that. The boys are playing outside. Everybody's just kind of doing their own thing, and it's the perfect time to fix some dinner. I am going to be doing I always call them southern noodles. I don't really know what else they're called. It's kind of like chicken and noodles, but it's mostly like a broth, and you roll out the noodles, and then I slice them up. You can use like if you have a pasta attachment. I don't, so I just roll mine, and we actually like them thicker anyway, so it works out for us. But I'm gonna roll out some noodles, and then I will put them into the boiling chicken broth that I just made, and then it will kind of thicken it up into a nice thick soup. And we always call them southern noodles. I know a lot of people down here will bring them for like Thanksgiving and stuff. It is definitely a cooler weather meal. It makes you feel nice and cozy. It's a comfort meal for sure. So it is starting to get cold here. The leaves and stuff are changing. It is so beautiful right now and just feels like a postcard. Like you look outside and it's so orange and green and red. I love it. Absolutely love it. And I know that this will make it feel even more like fall. So let's go ahead and get started on dinner. I think I've made this recipe on my channel before. It is a super easy recipe. I know that some people, including myself, I used to be very intimidated by making noodles. And I know there is a ton of different ways to make them, but they really are so simple once you start making them. So these are the ones that I always make for this chicken and noodles. They're not ones that you would use for spaghetti or anything like that, but these ones are a thicker, almost like an egg noodle that you would find in the freezer section. And I like doing those. I used to buy those all the time. And then I just learned how to make them once we moved here and I wasn't able to find them as much down here. So anyway, I like making them and it is perfect in these chicken and noodles dish. A lot of time I'm also really basic with these noodles. I add in salt and that's pretty much it. Aside from, like the flour and oil and egg and stuff, but you definitely can add different herbs to the noodles and kind of, flavor them a little bit more. I definitely would if I was making something else. This dish is almost like a chicken and dumplings, so I don't like to add in a ton of herbs and stuff. I like to keep it very simple, and that's just kind of how I like it. But you absolutely, if you're wanting to add in different herbs, you can. I'll have this noodle recipe down below in the description box if you're interested in trying it out yourself. As far as the entire recipe, there's really not much to it other than making the noodles. So like I said, I had boiled some chicken and made chicken broth earlier. You could just buy chicken broth if you're not wanting to make it, but I usually like buying it. There is something about homemade chicken broth that is so delicious. So anyway, it's basically just the chicken broth, and if you're wanting to include the chicken in that, you can dice that up and put it in there after you put in the noodles. But it's just basically the noodle recipe, and then you cut them up and you put them into the boiling broth, and then it makes the chicken and dumpling kind of noodle style. So really there is not much to it. It is a very simple recipe. The biggest thing is just making the noodles, and really those are not hard either once you get started. I feel like there is no right or wrong way to do noodles. They're all gonna taste the same like this anyway. So I am definitely not perfect about this in any way. I just kind of cut them really long, and then I'm going to cut them into smaller pieces. I don't always, because my kids kind of think it's fun with the longer noodles, but I am going to make them a little smaller and easier to manage, easier to eat, all that. So we're not going to have them long. And then what I'm going to do is, after I cut them, I'll then, sorry if you can't hear me, one of my husband's friends is pulling up right now and the dogs are kind of barking and I got water going, so it's a little louder here right now. But anyway, I'm gonna cut these up, and then the water is boiling, so it is some broth. I'm just gonna drop it in the broth, and these, as they cook, they will thicken the broth and turn into a really nice thick noodle soup type of thing. Now that I have the noodles all sliced up into really long strips, I'm going to cut them into smaller ones. You do not have to do that. You can leave them long. It just makes it kind of difficult to eat. So I try to make them smaller. And today I was feeling like extra small noodles, so I did make them a lot smaller than I usually do. But I just kind of did that just because it's a little bit easier. And I also did make them a little thinner today. There have been times where I keep them thicker to where they're more of a dumpling. But today I like how you can kind of be versatile with everything. These noodles are really great to kind of make your own. So if you're wanting them thicker like a dumpling, you can make them thicker. Or if you're wanting them thinner and smaller, you can do that too. And I love how you can just really make it your own with these noodles. Once I have them all cut up how I'm wanting, then I drop them into the boiling broth over here on the stove. Here's how the noodles are looking. I'm going to reduce the heat so it's not boiling, and then it's going to really thicken up. I don't always add in the chicken back, but I think I'm going to tonight. So I boiled some chicken breast to create the broth, and along with a little bit of broth that I had before, I kind of mixed them. And I'm going to shred this up and put at least some of it back in the pot, probably not too much. I like it mostly like a noodle dish, but I'm going to add some of it back in and then allow it to kind of slowly cook a little bit longer, and it will really thicken up. So you can see like how the noodles have kind of expanded. I guess it's a little hard to see, but you can kind of see they grow a little bit. They expanded and they'll thicken up the broth pretty nicely. If it doesn't and you want it thicker, you can always add in a little bit more flour to thicken it up. I would just do like 1 tablespoon at a time, see how it does. But usually the noodles are pretty coated in the flour, and that's what helps the soup kind of thicken up. While we're on this topic, I am really curious if anybody else makes these. What do you call them, and where are you from? Because I usually call them a Southern noodle. When we lived in Chicago, no one ever made these. I was basically the only one, and I got them from someone that lived down here, like a family member that lived in the South, and I would make them, and I was like the only person that I knew up in Chicago area that ever made them. So I always referred to them as Southern noodles, and then we have these for Thanksgiving. But I have family members from like Tennessee and Oklahoma that bring these for Thanksgiving usually every year. And usually they're about the same, but they can kind of vary. Sometimes they're turkey. They're usually always really good. They're always amazing. But when I referred to them as Southern noodles to a family member that lives in Tennessee that makes them, she's like, I don't think they're Southern, they're more northern than anything. And I just like, what? We never had them when I lived up north. So anyway, I am curious, if you make these, what do you call them, and where are you from? It's not the prettiest meal I've ever made, but it is sure delicious, and it hits the spot on these cold days. Well, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.